Hello everyone, I am Durga Saujanya from Department of ECE, MLR Institute of Technology. I am going to give the video sections for the subject Embedded System Design. Here in this subject, our today's topic for video session is threads. This comes under the 4th unit, which is under the topic task, process and threads. So summary of previous session. In previous session, we have discussed about what is meant by a task, what is meant by a job, what is meant by a process, and what is the structure of a process, and what is the memory organization of a process, and what are different states of the process, and what is meant by the state transition. So these are all discussed in the previous video session. So now in today's session, we are going to discuss about what is thread, what is multiple threads, user and kernel level threads, user versus kernel level threads, that is the differences between these two, and the differences between the thread and process, advantages of threads. Going to the today's topic, which is thread. Thread is nothing but a primitive that can execute the code. So that is some part of the main process. So a small part of the process or a small part of the program which is recurrently used by the process is known as thread. So it is a single sequential flow of control within a process. So here we have a single sequential flow of execution from the process. A process may have a sequence of execution. In this sequence of execution, a single flow of control is known as one thread. So that means here it may consist of, a thread is a single sequential flow of control within a process. A process may have a number of sequence of executions. In this number of sequence of execution, a single flow of control is known as one thread. That means a process consists of n number of threads. A thread is also known as lightweight process. A process can have many threads of execution. Different threads which are part of a process share the same address space, indicates that they share the data memory, code memory and heap memory area. Here we need to remember one point, which is in a process there are number of threads are there. So that whatever the resources allocated to that process, so all the resources are available or used by the each thread used in that process. So if there are 3 threads are there, 3 threads will use the same CPU, same memory, same data memory, same code memory and same stack memory of the process. Multiple threads. So for better utilization of the CPU, here multiple threads of the same process share the same address space and data memory. So here we have already discussed that if there is only one thread is there, it is known as single thread. If there are number of threads are there, that is known as multiple threads. For multiple threads, there are number of threads in a process. They all will share the same address space for data memory and code memory and heap memory. So therefore it can reduce the complexity of inter-thread communication and the variables can be shared across the threads. So because we have used the same variables and same memory for all the threads, the complexity of inter-thread communication will be reduced. Since the process is split into different threads, when one thread enters into the wait state and the CPU will be utilized by other thread that do not require the event which the other thread is waiting for processing. So the speed of execution will be increases. Here if there are 3 threads are there, this is thread 1, this is thread 2, this is thread 3. Okay, if there are 3 threads are there, so when the first thread enters into the wait state, so that is it is in the wait state for waiting for allocation of resources. So then if thread 2 is already having the allocation of resources to that, so then it will handle the CPU for execution. So therefore now, so the entire process will not be stopped. So the execution process will be happened for thread 2 after completion of execution state of the thread 2. Whatever the thread which is in the waiting state previously, it comes to the execution state. So now it goes to the terminated state. So whenever it goes to the terminated state, the another thread will goes to the execution state. So now the third thread will be either in wait state or create state or ready state. So depending on the availability of the resources, each thread will go on execution. So here one thread will be in the wait state, another thread will be in the ready state, and another thread will be in the execution state. So that means all the threads will be executing at the same time. All the threads will be flowing their flow of execution at the same time. So this is speed of the execution of process. So efficient CPU utilization will be done by this process because the CPU is engaged by all the time. Next, user and kernel level threads. User level threads do not have kernel or support and exist solely in the running process. User level threads are purely user programs. So those are not the permanent programs or those are not the software programs related to OS. These are purely related to the user applications. So therefore they does not have any support from the kernel. So those are purely user level applications. Even if a process contains multiple user level threads, the OS treats it as a single thread and will not switch execution among different threads of it. As previously discussed, the execution process will be shared to different threads of a single process. But here, if it is a user level thread, the CPU will not switch the execution among different threads. So it will simply treating as it is entirely a single thread and it will not share any resources among those three threads. It is the responsibility of a process to schedule each thread as and when required. So here the kernel will not take any responsibility for scheduling and execution of the threads. So here only that particular process will have the responsibility to manage the each thread and schedule the each thread. User level threads of a process are non-preemptive at thread level from OS perspective. Say at thread level, user level threads are non-preemptive. Non-preemptive means it will not be interrupted in between. So once the process started, till the completion of the process, it will not be interrupted. Next, second one is kernel level or system level thread. So kernel level threads are individual units of execution in which OS treats as separate threads. As these are the kernel level threads, that is the software programs which are utilized by the OS. So the OS treated these as separate threads. The OS interrupts the execution of currently running kernel thread and switches the execution to another kernel thread based on the scheduling policies implemented by OS. So that is the same process what we have discussed in the previous slide, which is multiple threads. So whatever the operation used for multiple threads, the same will be utilized for kernel level threads also. And next, the differences between user level thread and kernel level thread. User level threads are implemented by user applications. The kernel level threads are implemented by OS. OS does not recognize user level threads as a separate threads. Here the kernel threads are recognized by OS as separate threads. The implementation of user thread is easy as the kernel is not involved in that. Only that particular process will manage that thread and will schedule the thread. So therefore implementation is very easy. So implementation of kernel thread is very complicated because it can wait for the OS to allocate all the system resources and it can be based on the OS scheduling. Context switch time is very less. Here the context switch time is very more. Here the context switch requires no hardware support. Here hardware support is needed as it is the system software. The hardware support is needed. Here as it is not the system software, it is particularly to that process only. Therefore no hardware support needed. If one user level thread perform blocking operation, entire process will be blocked. As here we have already discussed that the OS does not support user level thread, and OS will treated the user level thread as a single thread only. Therefore, when one thread goes to the blocking state, the entire process will be blocked. Here in this kernel level thread, the kernel OS treated this as multiple threads or separate threads. Therefore, blocking of one thread will not cause any damage to the entire process. If one thread is in the blocking state, another thread will goes to the execution. Examples of user level threads are Java threads and POSIX threads. Examples of kernel level threads are Windows LRS. Next, the differences between thread and process. Here thread is nothing but a single unit of execution and process is nothing but a number of threads. Thread is a single unit of execution and is part of a process. Process is a program in execution and it contains one or more threads. A thread does not have its own data memory. So because the thread is allocated with the data memory, so stack memory and code memory of the process. So all the threads are allocated with the resources for that particular process. Therefore, thread does not have its own data memory or its own heap memory or its own stack memory, because it shares the data memory and heap memory with the other threads of the same process. Here the process has its own code memory, its own data memory and its own stack memory. A thread cannot live independently, it lives within the process only. So we cannot use the thread as independently. So it can be live in this process only. So the process contains at least one thread. There can be multiple threads in a process. The first thread called for main function occupies the start of the stack memory of the process. Here threads within the process share the code and data memory and heap memory. Here multiple threads are there. Each single thread will use the memory at one time only. But here as the process share the code, data and heap memory to all the threads, each thread holds the separate memory area. Threads are very inexpensive to create. Processes are very expensive to create because OS is involved in creating the process. Context switching is inexpensive and fast. Here the context switching is complex and involves a lot of OS overhead. Therefore, it is comparatively slower. If a thread expires, its stack is used by the particular process. If the process dies, so the resources allocated to it are reclaimed by the OS only. Therefore, all the threads of this process also dies. So these are the differences between the threads and process. So advantages of threads. Here by using the multiple threads, the better utilization of CPU and better utilization of memory will be achieved, because the same process share the address space for the data memory and heap memory. So the complexity of inter-thread communication will be reduced and therefore better memory utilization will be achieved. So efficient CPU utilization is also achieved. It speeds up the execution of the process because concurrent execution of different threads will be happen in the process. Therefore, speed up the execution of the process. So these are about the today's session. In this session, we have discussed the summary of previous session and what is thread, what are multiple threads, user and kernel level threads, user versus kernel level threads, and differences between the thread and process, and advantages of threads. This is about present session. Thank you.